shares. Because Premier McGuinty has, throughout his career, demonstrated his commitment to lifting people up, to improving the lives of all Ontarians. He has also been a Premier that, more than any Premier before him, has embraced Ontario's diversity and made it clear that the success of all Ontarians from all communities and all backgrounds must be the first priority of government. I'm proud to serve in his government and in his cabinet. Ladies and gentlemen, Premier Dalton McGuinty.
Thank you so much, Eric, for your very kind and generous introduction. And even more importantly, thank you for all the great work that you have been doing to help us build a stronger, more caring Ontario. Eric, ladies and gentlemen, you may know, is a doctor. He is a recognized and celebrated Ontarian. More importantly, he is a husband and a father. He is relatively new to politics, but he's taken to politics like a fish takes water. He's got a number of great qualities, but those I admire the most are the fact that he is a good listener. He is a good student. And it seems to me that one of the most important responsibilities we share as public representatives is to continue to find ways to listen and to learn from those we are privileged to represent. So Eric, thank you for your introduction, and thanks for the great work that you are doing on our behalf. I'm very pleased to be joined by so many of my colleagues here tonight. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for being here. They tell me that there is a distinct possibility that we will soon all be caught up in the throes of a federal election. Just tell you one story about an election. It was an election or two ago, a federal election. Some of you may know my brother David is a federal Liberal member of Parliament. And I was campaigning with him and made a campaign stop at a long-term care home, a retirement home for senior citizens. And he was chatting with him after lunch in the sunroom. So it's kind of a struggle for these folks just to stay awake and listen. So he begins his remarks by saying, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I knocked on thousands of doors. And he proudly held up his right hand, and the knuckles were visibly marked because of all the door knocking. He said, you know, you learn a lot of things when you knock on that many doors. And there was an elderly woman who was sitting in one of the reclining wheelchairs who appeared to be sleeping. She lifts her head on the back of the chair and says, too bad you didn't learn to knock with your left hand. There's your little story for you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your dedication to your craft as journalists and to your province as Ontarians. You help us promote and celebrate our unique diversity. You reach out to Ontarians of all faiths and cultures, keeping communities connected to each other and their homelands. You are an important part of the exciting adventure that we are all part of. We're building something here that is decidedly different. We're building a society, a way of life, where we find strength in our differences. And it's a great privilege to build together with you. I want to thank you for everything you've done to help drive Ontario forward against the strong headwinds of a powerful recession. That storm caused a lot of damage. Families were hurt. Businesses paid a price. It would have been worse but for Ontarians themselves. Together, we fought back. And even though we're now turning the corner, Ontarians remain a bit anxious, a bit uncertain about what the future holds for all of us. And I think that's understandable. But here's something else we should understand about ourselves. We are resilient and resourceful. We always find a way forward. You know, I read that in the early 1800s, when Ontarians traveled the province, they would carry their own axes with them, just in case a tree had fallen across the way or a bridge had washed out, and they needed to clear a new path or build a new bridge. We're still like that. And whether your family arrived 200 years ago or 200 days ago, we all have that in common. We see past the obstacles of our present to the possibilities of our future. future. We're builders, always with tools at the ready. Now, if there's been one single, powerful, noble ideal that has inspired every generation of Ontarians, it is this. We will do whatever it takes to secure a bright future for our children and grandchildren. And that's what I want to talk to you about this evening. Our plan to secure that bright future by building a stronger Ontario right now. It's a plan that's already underway and has been for some time. Our plan will make Ontario home to the world's best workers, making the cutting-edge products the world wants to buy. We can't get there simply by coasting. We just can't coast to strength. We need to build. We need to change. And we're driving change together in 5 big areas: education, healthcare, infrastructure, electricity, and taxes. I'll begin with my favorite, education. I believe the single most important thing that we can do to ensure that we have a highly competitive workforce, the single most important thing we can do to ensure our children enjoy rich, full, happy lives, is to invest in their skills and education. That's why we delivered labor peace in our schools, lowered class sizes, added post-secondary spaces, and created new programs to better engage students. All that, I'm pleased to report, has made a difference. In 2003, 54% of Ontario students met the Ontario standard. That means they were earning a B average or better. Today, we're at 68%. Our plan will get us to 75%. Here's another measure of our progress. More students are graduating. The graduation rate has jumped from 68 to 81%. We're closing in on our target of 85%. Then there's post-secondary education. The question here is always, well, how many adults have it? When you compare us with the 34 OECD countries, we're on top today. But we want to be the best tomorrow, too. Our plan will increase the number of Ontarians with a post-secondary education from 63 to 70%. In Ontario, no keen and qualified student will be turned away for lack of space on our part or lack of money on theirs. We will make room. We will provide financial support. And then there's full-day kindergarten. We introduced it last September. It's the first program of its kind in North America. We've known for a long time that a strong start in school makes for a strong finish. It means our kids are more likely to finish high school, go on to college, university, or an apprenticeship. They're more likely to get a good job, more likely to enjoy a good standard of living, and contribute to a stronger Ontario economy. Our plan will put full-day kindergarten in all our elementary schools in 2014. When you look at our big picture for education, I think the plan is pretty clear. We're making changes. We're getting results. Our kids are growing stronger, and they're going to be more competitive workers. And that, my friends, is good news for all of us. Here's one more area that is essential in helping us compete, and that is immigration. Attracting the best workers with the right skills is key to our shared economic future. But right now, Ontario's ability to do everything we can to attract new Canadians, bring families together, and get newcomers into the workforce quickly is being held back by the federal government. We've achieved a lot in public education, but that's an area where we've had control. And I'm convinced that if Ontario had more control over services for new Canadians, like they have in Manitoba, BC, and Quebec, we could do more to help our families reach their potential. That's what Eric and I and all our team are pursuing at present with the federal government. That brings me to our next big change. To compete with the best in the world and win, we need more than just a smart, highly skilled and educated workforce. We need a healthy workforce. Healthy workers are productive workers. And a strong public healthcare system gives our workers and our businesses a real competitive advantage. That's why we are strengthening it. We're building 18 new hospitals. We have almost 11,000 more nurses and 2,900 more doctors. We've gone from 0 to 200 family health teams serving 2.3 million patients. And in another first for North America, we now have nurse practitioner clinics. Today, 94% of all Ontarians